Hi everyone. So I wanted to do this little disclaimer prior to the video that I'm about to post because when I reheard it, I was like, man, I sound so angry. And one of the things that I wanted to make clear is that number one, I'm not an angry person. Number two, this stuff doesn't anger me to the degree that it might sound like when I'm talking about it in videos and what you're going to hear in this video, because, I cuss and whatever, I do sound like I'm in my feelings. And the reason why I'm in my feelings is because it has mainly to do with just the platform itself, with YouTube, and the negative feedback that I constantly get. And that to me is where the anger is coming from, because the subject itself, let me tell you, what was it, 2 weeks ago, I had blood work done, and the area that I live in, I've said to people plenty of times before, this is a majority white neighborhood. I think it's point something percent other than white in this area. And, I feel like I've come across people that I've never met a Latin person in their life. And when I did blood work, that actually happened. The woman that met me, I think I was the first Latin person that she's ever met face to face in her life. And she didn't know how, she asked, she's like, are you Hispanic or Latino? And it was really funny. And she was actually very sweet. And she was like, I hate to ask the next question. She's like, but what race are you? She's like, I don't know what to put down. And, I felt really bad for the woman. It was a genuine sense of not knowing, of not knowing how to answer that question. And, the point that I'm trying to make is that, she was scared to ask me that question because, basically out of fear that, I would get upset or have, an angry emotional reaction. And I didn't, I laughed it off. And I'm you just check everything off, just check everything off, or check one thing off. I genuinely, it really doesn't bother me. And she's like, I'm so sorry. She's like, I just, I don't know. And she's like, I just don't want, I hate having to ask that question, blah, 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 and she doesn't want to offend anybody. And, the point that I'm trying to make is that this stuff doesn't get to me the way that it might sound. And the reason why, I thought about doing the whole entire video over, because you're going to hear it. It kind of cuts into something else, because there was a first part of it and I felt like it really didn't relate. And I felt like the part that I start at, what you're going to hear, that was the point that I was trying to get up to. And I feel like the first part of that, before that, it was just kind of rambling, and it just didn't really make any sense. So I just cut the whole part out. The reason why I wanted to keep it is because, fine, there's anger. It might sound like I'm angry at some points, but, I made some very good points. My husband made some really excellent points. And it's I know that that's something that I'm not going to be able to recreate. So that's why I didn't want to record it again. So anyway, I wanted to make this whole little disclaimer. This is going to be a 5-minute disclaimer. No, I'm not angry. No, I'm not upset. Again, when I'm out in the world, this stuff in the real world it doesn't get to me like that. If anything, it's more of the negative feedback that I get for stuff that, to me, I believe that I'm putting out things that are more on the positive side. But because I'm not, bending to the will of what other people want me to, then they want to take it to a trolling place and accuse me of the exact opposite, of being somebody that's just this completely negative person, and that I have ill intentions when I don't. So anyhow, for all of you watching, thank you so much. People who have been subscribing, thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. And so without further ado, there's the video. So, for what? And we're not all going to agree on everything. That's it. It's just point blank, period. My idea of when I would speak about unity, my thoughts were more aligned with, okay, can we at least in this country not go by race and force there to be a classification of Latino / Hispanic? I said Latino. There's other people that want to call themselves Hispanic. I don't care. If we can have it Hispanic / Latino, that's fine. And you can pick one or the other. I don't care. I would just rather us define ourselves by that label as opposed to being forced into the black or white box. That's the only thing I ever said on it. That's the one thing. That's it. That's it. Like, I'm not asking for like, oh, we have to unite with the entire Latin America and we have to go to, I'm not talking about all that. You know, that's admirable that there's people that want to do that. I think that's great. But I'm not even thinking about that yet. Like, can we at least try to be one thing here first and start here first? And then maybe if we do better here together as a group, as American-born Latin people, maybe we'd have more economic power to help people in Latin America or help other groups in the country. Is that a good point?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make noise.
I mean, I think
it's not just about that, right? You think about just the system of powers in America, right? These groups, these boxes were made to uphold certain types of system. Right. Once you conform and become black or white, you become part of that system, that structure of who's in power, who's not in power. And then if you mean to empower your own group, you need your own box. If you don't have your own box, your group is not in power. So don't believe it when you say, you know, I'm Hispanic, but I'm white. You just took away from the Hispanic power.
Exactly.
I'm Hispanic, but I'm black.
Exactly.
I just took away from the Hispanic power.
Exactly.
I didn't even want to talk.
No, that's great. And, you know, and that's coming from somebody that, you know what? They have their own box. Asians have their own fucking box. How good do Asian people do in this country? Ask me. They're kicking everybody's asses, including the white man's ass.
Highest wage earners. But that shit is crazy though. When you talk about highest wage earners, like the Asians that do well, they do super well.
Yeah.
And then it looks like they do so well that it looks like we have no one living in poverty. Meanwhile, the ones that live in poverty are living in poverty.
In extreme poverty, right? Like when you're talking about like the Chinatowns, and people don't know exactly how the people are living in these areas. You know, they don't. I would have probably more exposure to that than a lot of Latin people or other groups of people because I've been with them for so long.
I hear you speaking. To me, it just sounds so crazy that you guys could be so strong. You guys are going to be the fucking major fucking minorities in America. Meanwhile, you want to conform and take away your own power. Yo, that shit kills me. I don't understand that.
I like it because it's coming from somebody else that's outside of our group that sees it. Right. And I'm glad that he's saying that. Because it's like, I think that you guys don't necessarily always know that that's how it is, especially if people might get offended by this, but fuck it. Especially when it comes to white or black Americans, and if you guys are in any way, shape, or form conforming to to either one of those groups, then they're gonna be all hunky dory about whatever it is that you do. Oh yeah, no, I love it. No, conform to my group. Conform, be like us. Conform to our group.
And you know, something that's so basic like. Right now, there is no national language, right? But once you start conforming to white or black, they can push the agenda of like no Spanish, no other language.
And that's exactly what happened. English. And that's exactly what happened to my parents, you know? And that was what they grew up in. And they conformed, and then I conformed. And like, all I'm asking is,
conformed, you got conditioned into it.
Right, whatever it is. Yeah, which is true. I know at this point in my life, I take accountability for not speaking the Spanish language. So hopefully people recognize that when I did that video, which I got the impression that one person didn't recognize what I was trying to say. I'm not trying to excuse what it is that's going on with me now. All I was trying to do was talk about why I wasn't taught when I was a child. Anyhow, but yeah, like, if you guys there's no.
You know what it is, because Puerto Ricans are. You guys been around since the 20s through the 50s, right? You guys been here a lot longer, so people don't understand what happens by the time you reach the second,
They
third,
haven't been here that many
generation.
generations. That's why they don't understand.
That's right. They don't understand.
That's why you guys don't understand. And the reason why I'm trying, use me as an example. Like, you want certain aspects of me, right? But you might not want certain aspects of me for your children. You know?
And that's the thing. When you start living in America, America slowly takes away culture from you.
It does. Right? Whether you like it or not. And the reason is that a lot of you guys don't know it because you don't know yet.
You haven't been around long enough.
By
the time the third generation comes around, you be lucky if they speak Spanish. You be lucky they know how to cook your own food.
Yeah.
I gotta make sure my daughter knows how to make some lo mein shit, even though it's just spaghetti and soy sauce or some shit.
Yeah, no, but he definitely knows how to make more stuff than that.
I can burn. So.
Yeah, so he's pretty good.
But you can burn too.
Yeah, no, and like that's the thing that I got passed down was the food, and I'm proud of that. But at the same time, to a lot of Latin people, that's not enough. It's not enough until they taste my food.
No, but think about that, right? Like, what culture-wise, what can you pass on in America? What can you celebrate in America?
Right. And the thing is and the main reason is because we're not a united front. And the reason why we're not a united front could probably be due to the issues that, just different Latin America countries have. That could be it too.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And that's brought over here.
Man. It's different politics,
things, yeah.
Depending on where you come from, Latin America, and and why politics also play a role in America, because you look at what socialism supported, what capitalism supported, in which countries, why they're here in America. So you look at Nicaragua, for example. Was it Nicaragua? I'm getting confused with the Central American countries. Because one of them was supported by the communists, and then the other one was supported by America. The one that was supported by the communists, America didn't let in, so they had a harder time coming to America. So they were a little bit more delayed. Their population was a little bit delayed in growth in America as well. So you talk about transplanting different cultures from different countries. Now there's those nuances as well, right? But people don't consider that, and when they try to have these discussion of macro level discussions of we should be Hispanic, we should be Latino, or we should be whatever the hell it is, then you end up separating yourself a little bit more, because there are these little nuances that you want to account for and you don't want to take away from. But when you're in America, where the predominant groups are white, black, how do you enter that discussion, right, and retain and make your own space? Well,
I think that's what a lot of people have a problem with, because when you're conform, it's like when you're saying Hispanic or Latino, then that basically takes away the nationality aspect of it, right? And what most Latin people want to identify by nationality. So that takes away the nationality, therefore the quote unquote identity. I understand that.
And that's the thing with Latin and Hispanic people, because genetically you guys are mixed.
Yeah,
you
most
guys,
of us,
so the majority of people from Latin America are mixed with European, indigenous, African, but then also not counting for the I'm getting myself mixed up here. There's also, some people have Arabic background.
Yeah. Right?
Some people have Asian background. Like in Panama, 1 in 5 Panamanians have Chinese or Asian, it's Chinese ancestry. You know what I'm saying? So those unique features are very unique to nationalities.
Right, to different parts of,
a little bit more on the macro side, it's associated with nationalities. But if you want to combine all the different like Latin countries, then you need to come under the flag.
Yeah, and that's basically what I'm trying to say is, like, if you're living here in the States, try to fight to have Hispanic or Latino as your identity first and foremost, instead of having to force yourself into racial boxes. Now, I get it if people want to call themselves, and I know you had mentioned it like a minute ago.
But racial boxes are color, right?
I know.
Now, look, before you come to America, you're not white, you're Italian, you're French, you're German. And if you remember, like, for the Africans that are here, I'm not black, I'm Nigerian.
Right.
Right?
Because they're separating themselves from Black Americans. They're
not separating themselves. They don't become separated until America separates the people that are inside America, right? So, for example, when we leave, so I travel internationally, right? When I leave America, I don't feel that I'm Asian anymore. I'm American, but I don't feel American inside America, and that's what America does. It makes you separate yourself.
And that's the other problem. And that's the other thing that I have, too, is the whole notion of Latin people. I get not feeling American. I'm starting to think of, no, fuck that. And fuck what these white people think or these Black American people think, either side thinks or anybody else thinks. If you're a Latin person, Hispanic person that was born and raised in America, there should be, especially if you come from like a really impoverished environment and you overcome that, you should be fucking proud of that. You should be proud to be like, yeah, I am an American. I came from nothing. I came from the fucking gutters of America and I got myself out of it, or my family, we got ourselves out of it. I don't understand why there's no pride in that. I don't.
Right?
Because then people,
how you gonna live in America and not be like,
have pride in that? And if say that you're an American. So what if people don't like fucking Americans? It's like, it is what it is, regardless of where you go out of the U.S.
Once you go into another country,
they're gonna know you're American.
You're American.
They're gonna know you're American, whether you like it or not. You're American, point blank, period. And just deal with it and accept it and own it.
But you're talking about people who are...
I'm talking about Latin people that do not like to be called American.
Well,
even though they were born...
Here.
Even though they were born... No. Even though they were born... Even though they were born and raised here. And there is a couple... Well, there is one particular YouTuber who has moved all the way to the Dominican Republic. And to that, even though I don't like this person and I don't agree with his ideology, to a certain degree, he's right about, if you don't like America... Get the fuck out. Move to your Latin American country. And in that, I agree with him. And he's living in in a poor place in the Dominican. I mean, all these Latin American countries are third world countries, and he's living in poverty in the Dominican Republic. Like, then go live there. You know what I'm saying? Like, go live in
crazy,
your
right? Name one
countries.
Latin American country that is not third world.
And it's not to say that there isn't wealthy people in these places. It's just they're such a small minority. They're not a huge.
And there's also
they're
imbalance.
not a majority.
It's imbalance.
Yeah,
there isn't that equity.
You can't.
America,
and same thing with Puerto Rico. You can't tell me, like, just because there's these few academics that are Puerto Rican from the island, that the bulk of the fucking island is like that. Yeah, right. That's why there's no infrastructure right now. Give me a goddamn break. That's why people are scared to
go out at night. Right?
Yeah, give me a break. And I know that there's great things about Puerto Rico. I have family that has recently been there within the past couple of years, and they had a wonderful time. Nobody treated them like shit, contrary to what YouTube says about how terrible how much they hate New Yorkers, how it's so horrible. When they were over there, they were embraced with nothing but love. So I always take that into consideration over the faceless people on YouTube that like to say the other bullshit.
You also still have family over there.
I do, but they're very extended. And I don't know them. I met like a couple of them, but that was when I was a child. I haven't seen any of those people in so many in decades. So I don't know them. Your
dad still talks to them once in a long
while. Yeah. But other than that, I don't know them. And that's like, I met like one from like my dad's side, and then like the others I met from my mom's side. But again, that was when I was a child, and these people were more connected to my grandparents, but they're very distant relatives. Other than that, no, everybody else lives here. The bulk of my family lives here in the States, And I know that I'm not the only person that's like that. There's a lot of other Puerto Ricans. There's a lot of the Dominicans that are like that too. I know that it's not just us. There's a lot of Mexicans that are like that too. So, it is what it is. Just embrace what it is that you are. If you want to change it, then change it. But what I'm saying is change the label and don't go into the white or black box. Call yourself Latino, Hispanic.
Especially if it means that much.
And then that's right. So this way you have, hopefully, to me, it will be a better economic standing. We are going to be the majority soon. You're going to have more people, more numbers. Yeah. There's going to be more of us. Why not fall under one banner? How much better will we do for ourselves here, and how much better will we be able to do for people in Latin America?
And also, that doesn't take away from the Africanness or
the
Eurocentrism. It doesn't,
but that's what people like to argue. I don't think it does either. I don't see why you can't just call yourself Latino or Hispanic and just still, if you feel like you need to put down race, then you put down race.
I'm not even saying to put it down.
No, I know you're not saying that. I'm saying for the people who feel the need that they have to. If you feel the need that you have to, then fine, add it. If you want to add that, then add it. But what I'm saying is that we shouldn't have to. I think we shouldn't have to. And I think if we at least come to that type of united front for once, then I think that we would be better off as a group. I don't think it's going to happen. It might happen in 30 years. It really might happen in 30 years, because I think that these people that are going to be coming from Latin America, they are not going to play with that shit. They are going to get so annoyed with the black and white shit, and they're going to be the majority. That shit's going to be fucking gone. So it's funny that you have people that are bitching about the American dynamic while simultaneously wanting to adopt to it. So, you know, if you're going to adopt to it in your own way. Label yourself instead of going into what they're calling you, instead of what they're labeling you. And that's all I'm saying. So with regards to Latin unity, that's kind of it. I'm going to go for now. This is long enough. And I think that's about it. And, you know, he gave his little piece. So
I'm happy you didn't show me.
Yeah, well, I figured you didn't want me to. So I didn't show you.
The YouTube shit is stupid.
It is stupid. All right, guys. I'll see you all in my next one. Bye.